MDVIP conference, most of you know that I'm an MDVIP provider, and every 2 years they send us to they send us to a place where we meet with all the other MDVIP physicians in the country. This year it happened to be in where was that? I think it was Texas this year. It was in Nashville last time. Anyway, so every 2 years we get to, it's really a very inspiring weekend because it's just other doctors who are committed to helping people stay well and other things that that they feel like will help physicians offer a better product to their patients. And so this year there was something on this there, and I thought, ProLon, what the heck is that? You know, it's a kind of an unusual name. And I thought, so I stopped by the booth and picked up some bars, just like he handed out those bars. Oh, those taste pretty good. And I saw the idea that it was a 5-day program, and I thought, well, that's really interesting, because I've always believed in a kind of a detox thing where you know, when you need to jump into a program. We've done detoxes here for years, so it kind of fit into what I like doing anyway. So, and then I had just gotten interested over the last couple of years in fasting, not, you know, for like intermittent fasting, like Dr. Paredes here was a big faster. He'll fast like 1 day a week, or there's fasting for like so many hours a day, not eating, and we're going to talk a little bit about the benefits of that. But I was already into the benefits of fasting, but thinking that not that I could do it really this effectively myself, but I thought a program like this, I saw the kit there and I saw that, and I thought, well, I think I could do that. You know, I think I could go 5 days eating, you know, and I always say I'm always better if I'm not left to my own devices. Because if I'm left to my own devices, then I'm going to find a way to cheat around it or whatever. So when I saw the kit, and I thought, okay, this is what I get to eat for 5 days. That's it. And it's doable for that. I'm not going to say, is it fun? No. But it's not bad, and some patients find it, you know, harder than other patients find it. So anyway, so I bought several kits there, and I brought them back, and I was all excited about it and telling everybody here, and everybody here was kind of rolling their eyes, because I always come back with something, don't I? I'm you know, it's either an ozone machine or this or that I come back from these meetings with. And this time I came back with these boxes of ProLon and saying, this is really interesting, and I think it's something that will help people get on the right track. Now, it does say in there that we should be cautious for those of us over 70, and I am. And I did it anyway, because I feel like I'm a pretty healthy over 70 person. You know, I didn't feel like I had any real major health concerns. But somebody that has a lot of health concerns is probably too much for them to do. But we can look at it and talk about it. So anyway, that's how I got into it.
Yeah.
And then
So I'm Jeff,
okay.
and I'm new to the company's ProLon. But yeah, thanks for letting me come by. And like I said, we'll kind of go through these slides, first time together. But then I can kind of show you what's inside the kit. I'll show you what's inside the kit, and then we can, I can answer some of the basic questions. We'll get Victoria, who is our clinical dietitian, so she'll be the one that will jump on the phone. She'll be able to throw up on speakerphone here, and she can answer some of those questions if you had, I think you're asking about like autoimmune and all the different things it can do. I don't know what we're going to see here, so I was going to explain it, but I'm sure it's going to start. So really, I guess we're going to go over like the impact of continuous eating. Obviously, it's interesting when I look at how I grew up versus my kids now. My kids now, it's breakfast, it's snack, it's lunch, it's snack, it's dinner, it's snack, it's oranges at the halftime of soccer, it's snacks after. I mean, it's continuous eating, right? So they're kind of growing up in that culture where when I grew up, it was, you know, don't spoil your dinner, make sure, you know, it was that kind of thing where it was just breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then there was nothing. Maybe dessert, but it was, you know, you definitely didn't have all these different snacks. So there is an impact on that. So we'll go over what the different types of fasting, like Doctor was saying, there is different types, and we'll kind of go over the benefits and, you know, the differences as you go longer, the different benefits as you prolong your fast. And then we'll talk about the ProLon Fasting Mimicking Diet. And believe me, I've been intermittent fasting for years. So when I saw this, I was like, I could not wrap my head around it. I was like, it's almost like an oxymoron, you know, it's like fasting with food is our little tagline. And so it took me a while to get my head around it, but the research is there. I've been in pharmaceuticals for 20 years, and so this is some of the best research product you're going to see. If you just went to PubMed, you put in intermittent fasting, or you put in whatever you'd like to do around fasting, you'll see a tremendous amount of articles and research. So this is sort of like, okay, the state of continuous eating. I like this, the shape of things to come. It shows us where we kind of were and where we are now, and that looks like it's delicious actually. I'm on day 5, so I'm starving. No, I'm just kidding. So, but, yeah, everything looks delicious. So fasting, so to abstain from food and beverage. So I think it's like it's also voluntarily doing it, right? And you can do it for many different reasons. We can do it for health. People do it for religious reasons. So that's what fasting is. Biological fasting is what we're kind of concerned with today, or what we're interested in. This is, we're not, Dr. Longo, what he really discovered were these nutrient sensing pathways. There's 3 of them. And he developed these foods that wouldn't trigger those nutrient sensing pathways. So in essence, it's tricking your body. It's kind of, your body doesn't recognize these type of ingredients as food. So you're able to get the nutrition, but you also get that benefits of the fasting. So these are the 3, not that you need to know them, I'm not going to test you on it, but PK, IGF-1, and mTOR. These are the nutrient sensing pathways, and they are triggered 24 hours after your last meal. So really your fasting starts 24 hours from your last meal. If you know it. So on Sunday night, if you ate at 6 o'clock the next day is really when your fast starts, because you have to get through all that food that you consumed. And then misconceptions, juice fasting, and a lot of the stuff you can kind of take with a grain of salt here, but this says juice fasting is fasting because it does not contain solid food. That's a misconception. And again, here we are, we're talking about due to food scarcity, fasting was part of human diet, 99% of our evolution on Earth. I think we all know, if we go back to our ancestors, it was, you look at some of the hunters and gatherers, it was, they woke up, they didn't have anything to eat, they had to hunt all day, they killed what they ate, and then they rested. It was all the whole day was about the hunt, and then it was the eating food. It wasn't continuous snacking because food wasn't available. Now, as we see, we're starting to head towards this. Why fast to optimize the body? Fasting originated in ancient evolution. It's a healing tradition across millennia. It's been shown to support overall metabolic health. It supports cellular cleanup that leads to cellular regeneration and increase in circulating stem cells, which is awesome. It impacts markers associated with an increase in human longevity and health span. So it's not, when I first started into the fasting, everything was about the weight loss. That was the initial thing, like, okay, this will help you lose weight. What I learned is that there's so many more things it has, and way more important than just your waistline. So this is Dr. Longo. So he University of Southern Cal. He's the one that pioneered the research that goes into this book, and also into this the ProLon, the 5-day fasting mimicking diet. I'm going to skip right to this. So here's the different types of fasting. So you'll hear intermittent fasting as sort of like the umbrella term, but if you think time-restricted eating, I like time-restricted feeding, some people call it time-restricted eating. That's basically where you're just having a feeding window, a time period of the day when you eat, so you're in the fed state or the fasted state. So a very popular one that I've done a lot is 16-8, and it's something that you work up to, but 16 hours a day you're fasting, 8 hours of the day is when you're eating. That is what time-restricted eating is. So that's how that works, and the nice thing about it is 8 hours of the day you're sleeping, so it's really not that bad. But ideally what you're doing is just skipping breakfast. So you're eating dinner, you're going to bed, you're waking up, skipping breakfast, and then you're having your first meal a little bit later, noon. That would be considered time-restricted eating. That window changes depending on what they want to do. Intermittent fasting is a little bit different in that it's 1 to 3 days of fasting, usually non-consecutive days. So it might be, 5-2, 2 days of the week you're fasting, 5 days you're not. That's an intermittent fast. Prolonged fasting is what we're going to talk about today. That's where it's 4 or more consecutive days of fasting. So right now, the only two long-term, the only two prolonged fastings are water-only fasts, and then we also have the fasting mimicking diet, which is ProLon. So we know well, this is kind of cool. Let's see what it says here. Okay, so this talks about fasting and its impact and all the different benefits. So we talked a little bit about intermittent fasting, time-restricted feeding, ProLon fasting, and the fasting mimicking diet. And it kind of just walks you through all the different benefits. The longer you go, as you get down to the fasting mimicking diet, you're going to see not only weight loss, lean body mass protection, cholesterol, fasting blood glucose, and then you're going to see cellular cleaning and increase in circulating stem cells. So at the beginning, when you're just doing that time-restricted eating that I talked about, you're just getting the weight loss, which is nice, but you're not doing anything to help your metabolic health. As you start to prolong the fast, you can see that now the check mark starts to pick up, and you're getting all the metabolic health benefits as well. So this is talking a little bit about water fast. So water fast, they do a wonderful job. This weight loss, metabolic health, it impacts the cellular cleaning, it supports stem cell priming. The difficult thing is that it's difficult. I mean, I could never wrap my head around doing a water fast, especially playing sports and stuff like that. You're like, how could I do that? How do they do that? So Dr. Longo, that's kind of where, so again, I should probably just see what it says. ProLon fasting, water only, this is the disadvantage. It's very difficult to do. Gallstone risk, does not preserve lean body mass, deprivation of the body, macro and micronutrients. Nutrients. So that's where Dr. Longo came up with the fasting mimicking diet. It's sort of an answer to a water-only fast. How do we get the benefits of a water-only fast, but with some nutrients and to support? So this is where we came up with the fasting mimicking diet. That's what's in this box. So it's a natural, plant-based nutritechnology that mimics fasting for 5 days while providing the body with nutrition. The stomach sees food while the cells see fasting. It consists of soups, bars, teas, drinks, snacks, and 2 supplements. So it makes fasting more practical. There's no post-fasting lifestyle change required. In our study, one of the studies that was done for ProLon, they took the 100 people, they put them on the 5-day fasting mimicking diet, but there was in between, remember, it's 5 days per month for 3 consecutive months. So the rest of the time, all the people were left to their own devices. So they did what they wanted, they ate the way they wanted, there was no restriction on what they would have to eat, what they had to eat, and they still had amazing results. So this is what the actual box looks like. The nice thing about it is, I think what Doc said too, is it just takes the thinking out of it. Like this is my 3rd time doing it now. I've been here with the company since October. This is my 3rd time. And I still just wake up and I go open the box and I take out the number box and I just look in it and I'm like, it's like Christmas. Like, what do we got? So each day you're going to see your box. It's all you'll get. It all consists of, you have your soups, and there's all different types of soups. We can substitute the soups for what you like and what you don't like. I'm learning as I go here that there's no, if you have nightshades issues or anything like that, we can substitute for you. There's different supplements. You guys have you tried the bars yet? Mm-hmm. What do you think? Wait a second. Come on, what do you think? You're not hungry. When you're hungry, they're delicious. They're awesome. They are awesome. The nut bars are great too. So there's a lot of different stuff. It's all here for you. Every time one thing I want to say, because I sometimes forget this, is that every one of our customers who buys a ProLon box, you also get the support from our company as well. So you have a 15-minute chat with our dietitian to go over any questions or anything that maybe you had questions on that you wanted answered. So that's a pretty cool thing. I've been in this industry a long time and never seen anything like it. Yeah, hit me.
Just real quick,
Yeah.
is a box 1 month or 3 months?
1 month.
Okay.
So this is your 5 days. There's a lot of stuff in here that we can go over, but that would be a little bit too much detail now. But yeah.
So talking about changing things out after your first experience,
Yeah.
if there's something you absolutely detested, you could say, hey, I just didn't like that, but I like this, and they can work with you to swap out.
They will work. That's stuff that I'm not supposed to speak to, but they can work with you with that. I mean, I know that they're figuring out, okay, if you didn't like the olives or maybe half of an avocado, there's some different ways and things they can do. I just stick to what's in there. I just eat. I try not to even no mental energy, and I'm not. Another thing too about working out, this is like a week where you're just resting. You're gonna rest. your body's regenerating and recouping, but you'll feel when you do this, you feel as if it's a workout. Your body's working. So it's pretty amazing the way you feel. You go through some ebbs and flows where you have a ton of energy, then maybe you get a little bit tired, and then all of a sudden, like, now I'm on day 5, and I feel like I could go longer now. Where on day 3, every time, day 3 is, I'm ready to eat, ready to eat anything. So everybody's a little bit different. So, like I said, there's a lot of research that backs this. Tons here. One thing I want to tell you about the weight loss, I'll try to go through this a little bit faster, but the weight loss, anywhere, the study showed 5 pounds, of 5 to 8 pounds, depending on what you came in with. When I was with one of our talks the other night, the doc was saying that they've had 15-pound weight loss. They've had a lot of different ones. Me, it was 6 the first time. I haven't weighed myself yet. I gained back 2. I kept off 4. So but the nice thing is it's predominantly from that visceral abdominal, that fat around the organs, which is so important to get rid of. So I used to tell people when I was training, you cannot spot reduce. Like, we can't get rid of just your stomach. Well, I guess I've been proven wrong a little bit now, because this is a way to do that. It targets, this is an image where it's just showing you the fat that's targeted around the stomach. So when we talked about fasting and how the further we go, the more benefits you get, that's what I think is the most important part. So day 1, it primes your body, transitions in fasting state, right? So that's that 24 hours post your last meal. Now you're really starting to fast. Day 2, your body switches to fat burning mode. So now it's starting to use, instead of using the food that we just ate as your primary food energy source, it's now going to be using the food that you are stored, the body fat. So insulin goes down. Insulin's a fat storage hormone. When insulin drops, when insulin's high, your body stores fat. When insulin is low, your body will use stored fat for energy. So we got to kind of get rid of those sugars in the body, and that's what this is doing. Day 3 is where really, so here's what most people stop here. Really, day 2, they'll do a 24-hour fast, but then you're leaving so much on the table, especially if you get through day 3, because there's some amazing things that happen on 4 and 5. So you're going to get the cellular cleanup on day 3. Here's where the stem cell production starts, and then the regeneration and stem cells continues. For me, I have really bad knee. I've had some surgeries, have arthritis in that knee, so this is one of the main reasons I'm doing this. This is my 3rd time. I don't know yet. I can't give you any predictions on how it's going to go. I don't expect it to, but I've heard some amazing things from people with the inflammation. So this kind of talks about, so we have the research results from our studies, rejuvenation, wellness, and health optimization. It's clinically studied to promote health span and longevity, and it's not lifespan. That's an interesting word they use, health span. The doctor always says health span because it's not just about living to an older age, it's about living healthy through these older ages and being active and being able to do things. This is the weight management effect that we talked about. 5 days, 5 days a month for 3 consecutive months. It promotes healthy levels of C-reactive proteins. That's an inflammation marker, so that's going to be improved. So if you have some inflammation, which probably most of us do. It also helps with your healthy levels of glucose, cholesterol, and this is an interesting part. We'll end with this, but it also enhancement of patient well-being. So this is more anecdotal from what people say, is that they just have a better relationship with food when they're done. So that's one of the things that kind of stunned me. I was so used to always eating that I'm like, oh man, that's all I really need to get through the day. You'd be surprised how much food you actually do consume and how often when you do a program like this. So it is a 5-day. I consider it like resetting your metabolism and just giving your body a rest, and just giving it like a chance to work on itself instead of always working on the food that we're bringing into the body. So that's the way that it goes from there. Let me just see if there's anything. So he's been, Dr. Longo has been, he was featured in Time magazine, so it just talks about fasting being very popular going forward. So that's the program in a nutshell, actually in a box, that's what it is. So you've got, probably have some questions. If you have some questions, I can answer them, and I can get Victoria on the phone. Sure, man.
You said after day 1, your body starts burning fat. Does that mean your body goes into ketosis?
Yeah, well, so that's a good question. Let's get Victoria on the phone. you're going to be starting to get rid of the sugars that you have in your body from food. And so now you're going to start working on that stored fat. So yeah, you do go into mild ketosis with this as well. Let's see if I can get on. Do you want to talk for a second?
Yeah,
Doc?
yeah, I was just gonna go through I didn't know he was coming when I planned this talk. So we prepared a few slides, and I think they're very similar. So how do I move those here? Okay. So, okay. So anyway, so I'm gonna go through them pretty fast, because he went through most of them. There's a couple things I did wanna talk about, though, that he, I'm still having trouble forwarding this. Let's go over here then.
Or you can click on the slide.
Okay. Okay, so, he, so I don't think we need to talk about who he is and all that, because I think he pretty much showed that, I think the thing I felt like is that most of us walk around I'm a grazer myself. I feel like I'm always nibbling on things. And I think when I was done with the 5 days, I really broke that. Now, unfortunately, right after the 5 days, it was Christmas and it was New Year, so I can't say I stuck with what I really want to. I plan to do it again this month to kind of, now it's January, now is the time to do it, and I'll hopefully be able to stick to a healthier program. And I like that in the back of his book, by the way, you'll get a copy of his book when you get his program, but he has an idea of what kind of diet to follow, because I think right now there's so many different things out there. People are doing ketogenic, and people are doing paleo, and people are doing, and then there's Dean Ornish, Dean Ornish just came out with a new book called Undo It, which is a plant-based diet, low-fat diet. I had the opportunity to hear both Mark Hyman, who's saying eat all the fat you want, and all that, and then I had the opportunity of hearing Dean Ornish on the same day, and that was a real experience to hear them both, because they really were at odds, except for one thing, and they both agreed that we should be eating more plants, that we should have our lots and lots of vegetables. And so anyway, so I think that I think one of the things that we do here when we do blood work, because we do some of these advanced lipid analyses, we learn about what diet is best for you, whether you would be a person to be better with a Mark Hyman approach, or you would be a person who would be better with a Dean Ornish approach. And then we have Walter Longo's approach, which is a little more similar to Dean Ornish than it is to Mark Hyman. He's not a big fat guy. He's not a big saying that you can have all the fat you want. He's a big plant-based diet guy. So he's going to have you, he would suggest that after you finish a program like this, you go into more of a plant-based diet. Do you follow his program when you're done?
Yep.
If you have her on the phone, I'll let you.
Okay, cool. Victoria.
Mm-hmm.
Victoria?
Yes,
Oh,
sorry.
hi. Sorry, that's not.
Listen to where I'm at right now.
Oh boy, that's.
Let me just kind of. Sorry about that.
So Victoria.
I just had to get a little bit out of that range. Okay, so I did hear your question as far as like post-ProLon protocols, and honestly, also the ones that you were kind of mentioning, those are all great interventions that you could use if you would like to. We don't have a specific, protocol that's best to fit, if you will. Rather, we do encourage you to use what you think would work, best for your patient.
I'm sorry that that's so loud. She's at a show setting up, but she's been nice enough to jump on the phone for us, so there's a lot of banging going around there. We had a question.
I apologize.
Oh, it's okay. What was the question you had, ma'am?
Just asked, you said after the first day that your body starts burning fat, and I was wondering, does that mean that your body goes into ketosis?
Excellent question. So, to some extent, yes, but to another extent, no. And the reason for that is because ketosis is really a process that's stimulated by an overwhelming amount of fatty acid breakdown. And so, it is to say you can be totally mobilized with fat, but never actually reach a state of ketosis. So, yes, we are going to be mobilizing fat because, of course, that is the main energy substrate when you're fasting. But not everybody's going to have a lot of fat to actually mobilize. For those individuals, they may not actually experience ketosis, whereas other individuals may. So it is variable in that sense. And for those that do report back to us, hey, I did experience some amount of ketosis, they'll usually report back like 0.5 to maybe 1 millimoles per deciliter of beta hydroxybutyrate.
There you go.
I had a question too, about, when I had men and women do this diet, and I would say that men seem to have a little more trouble with it because it's, obviously their caloric needs are a little higher than women. Is there anything that you could add, or would you suggest we just say, no, don't add anything to this and just, gut it out, so to speak?
So when we did our clinical trial, we actually did this very evenly split between males and females, and they did do just the exact same protocol. Now, as far as modifying the diet, we don't recommend doing that because we did see that it was effective in both males and females, as well as a wide variety of body weight ranges. However, I will note that those of exceptional height, so like 6'5" and above, and then of their exceptional musculature, so maybe like, for example, football players, they will likely need an altered protocol. We can work with you on what that might look like. But for everybody else, it tends to, this diet actually tends to totally fit the bill for generally healthy individuals that fall within that range.
Oh, darn, I was hoping you were going to say we could add something to it. It's day 5. Day 5. I'm waiting. I'm almost done.
A couple more hours.
We have a good question.
Sparkling water.
I have a question here. Yeah.
Can you take supplements? Your regular supplements that I take, like for thyroid, that I don't take medication, I just take supplements.
If you're taking a thyroid medication,
No,
thyroid,
it's just
like,
supplements.
Just supplements.
But
Just
if
supplements.
it's for your thyroid, so if it's like, I think it's called nature's thyroid, something in that realm.
No.
If you're taking something like that, where it's really, your main use for it is a medicinal purpose, then what we've classically seen our healthcare providers do is continue their patient on that while they're going through ProLon. It just depends, though. Everybody's a little different. If it's a dietary supplement mainly for like general wellness purposes, then don't worry too much about it. It's just better to take like a supplement break during the program because, in essence, any of those biologically active ingredients, they all can affect how the diet works. And with that being said, if they do affect how the diet works, then that can either negate or promote the total effect of the diet.
I think when I did it, I take a box full of supplements, and I stopped everything during that 5 days. I did a 5-day break from all my supplements too. I used they did come with a supplement that it has you take, and I used that because like I said, I felt like I needed to just do the things that were in that box for those 5
Well, I
days.
just had surgery and I had to stop them all, and I did not feel good.
Yeah, okay. No, you won't feel good on this for 5 days. And this may not be the right thing for you to do right now, okay? So you may have to wait till you at a better place to where you're able to do that. But during that 5 days, now, if you're taking, so I'm certain you're talking about like selenium, kelp, and, all that kind of thing. We could talk about that. I mean, with whoever you're seeing that might give you some support, and talk to them when you're. And they have been really nice. When I was on it, I had a question, and I called them because I thought I didn't see the thing to make the drink with the first day, and I kept thinking, where's my drink? I'm supposed to have this drink. So I called them up, and they said, no, you don't start the drink till the second day. And I thought, oh, that's why there's no drink thing to make a drink. And the drink is wonderful, by the way. I love the drink. In fact, I would like to probably continue to drink.
I'll let you know, everybody was doing well, and Ivan tells me my first day on the job, I come in here and he says, man, I struggled. I didn't do well at all. It was horrible. I'm like, wow, I'm with the wrong company. All of a sudden, I find on the way out, he tells me, oh, I didn't have that drink thing. I'm like, oh my gosh, you gotta have that. First of all, it's extra calories, it's glycerol for energy.
But actually, it was just day 5.
It's just day 5. Okay.
All the other days, like honestly, I eat a lot. So I was expecting to be starving. I wasn't.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say, oh my God, but I was satisfied. So I wasn't starving. It wasn't until day 5 where it hit me.
Yeah.
And it was just, I'm like, I'll avoid the drink.
Yeah.
I didn't read all the way through the benefits.
But
I'll avoid the drink.
supplements, I think, are something different, because they really do affect me. When I come off them, I don't feel
Yeah,
good.
so we'd have to talk about that individually with whoever, to decide what you could continue and what you couldn't. But, I think that and then I think a lot of us wind up taking too many things. I mean, I personally think I do. I take too many things. So I thought it was a good break for me just to stay away from them. for 5 days and then get back on, I went right back on my supplements as soon as the 5 days was over. You had a question?
But taking the prescribed medication that you
Yes,
have to take is
yes,
fine?
yes,
Okay.
yes. But you watch blood pressure, I mean, that would be the thing. I had one patient recently do it that, I had her on, I had to switch her from one blood pressure medicine to another blood pressure medicine prior to the program because her blood pressure was running so high. Well, when for your blood pressure and see, because you do have to watch that, I don't know if you found that to be true too, that blood pressure does drop on this program because insulin's so low.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that can happen. We've actually had both cases where hypertension or hypotension have occurred. So definitely with anybody who is on a blood pressure medication, we always push that the healthcare provider is monitoring them because yes, they really can have shifts and that might mean a multitude of things for their medication management.
You have a question?
Yeah, you said that this was, no working out basically during the week while you're doing this. Now, I have a very physical job where could be in the fat burning zone for up to 8 hours during the day.
What do you do?
I do window tinting.
Oh, yes, you're,
So, is it safe to work?
Wait, sorry, what did you
so she has a pretty, I was just saying that, you don't necessarily have the nutrition to be able to go lifting weights and stuff like that, right? So it's more of like but she has a physical job where she's on her feet and moving around and doing stuff, and she wanted to know, can she still work? Does she still?
What type of, are you a physical therapist?
No, she's doing like window tinting, she's, basically doing 100 air squats a day and stretching and moving and doing all these different things.
Wow.
So it's just a physical job, but this,
Okay.
what would you recommend there?
So, this is actually an issue that we run into with individuals who are like construction workers. If you know that week is going to be a very intensely physically active week, which I'm sure it varies, I would recommend that you wait until you get like the lighter week. It's mainly because you're at a higher propensity to experiencing fainting at that point because yes, this is a diet that is low in sugar, it's low in calories. You're not really going to be getting a lot of nutrients in to make sure that you can regulate that appropriately if you are being very intense with your exercising, like consecutively. Maybe like a couple of days of the week, it puts you at a higher chance of fainting, of course, and possibly some lean body mass loss, but it's not as worrisome as, let's say, you were doing 5 consecutive days, like complete high, intensity type of working, whatever that might be. So it actually might be better for you, I don't know if you work on the weekends, if you don't, it might be better for you to start on the weekend.
So, obviously you talked about all the benefits of it, and I kind of look at it a way as to kind of reset your metabolism to maybe even resetting our set point. There's a lot out there now about set point, how your body gravitates to one place it likes being, and I do think doing something like this can kind of reset a little bit that set point, improve your energy. I mean, there's a lot of benefits of it. One way. We check a lot of baseline markers. We do a lot of, our advanced lipid studies that we do here in the office. We look at a lot of markers that look at inflammation, especially inflammation in the artery. So we'll be looking at that. We'll get, obviously body weight and blood pressure and all that. So that, like I say, that's showing you that program again. He's already gone over it. I mean, you're going to feel most of it. I didn't get a headache. I mean, obviously the caffeine thing, that's an issue. But you are allowed coffee as long as it's black. But black coffee to me was like, what's the purpose of black coffee? I never have figured that one out. But I can drink black tea. So I did caffeine in the morning because I'm used to doing caffeine in the morning. So I did black tea in the morning, or green tea, or whatever tea that had caffeine in it. So that's how I kind of kept up my caffeine needing during that 5-day program, and I never wound up with any headache. Other people that can drink black coffee, they can continue drinking the black coffee during that time, and then the rest of the day they said, they suggest that you only do herb tea, and that's all I did. Like I said, I feel like I've always been a person that when I'm good, I'm really good. When I'm bad, I can be pretty awful too. So, I can fluctuate between those, which is why I like this program to kind of get me back on track again.